Good afternoon, everyone. I am Neeraj Kumar from BBA department in a management department IIMT College of Greater Noida. Today, I am presenting a most important topic in a business economics in a BCA second year. A most important topic: elasticity of demand. Okay, elasticity of demand and law of demand is the most important topic in a concept of demand and theory of demand. First is the law of demand. What is the law of demand? Law of demand means that if the price of the commodity increase, quantity demanded will fall, and if price of the commodity quantity falls, quantity will increase. Means price and demand both are the inversely proportional. Law of demand explain just direction of the concept. Okay, in a demand theory, explain just the direction, not explain the magnitude. But elasticity of demand explain with the direction and magnitude. Means elasticity of demand explain how much change in a demand, but law of demand doesn't explain how much change in a demand. Only elasticity of demand concept just explain the how much change in a demand. Definition of the elasticity of demand or meaning means simple meaning that if quantity demanded of a commodity increase or decrease in response to increase and decrease in the quantity demanded. Elasticity of demand, the type of elasticity are the following types. First, price elasticity demand, income elasticity demand, cross elasticity demand. That type of the elasticity of demand on the basis of the determinant of demand. Determinant of demand is the first determinant of demand is the price, income, cross elasticity, relative commodity price. These explanations divided that elasticity of demand in a different types. First, explain the price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand, a measurement of percentage change in a demand due to percentage change in own price of commodity. Formula of EP. EP is the symbol of the price elasticity of demand, means percentage change in a quantity demand divided by percentage change in price. Explain the formula again. Price elasticity of demand is the percentage change in a quantity demand divided by the percentage change in a demand, or in another form, symbol forms delta Q divided by Q into P by delta P. What is the EP? EP is the price elasticity in that formula, and Q is the initially demand. Okay, and P is the initially price, and delta Q is the change in a quantity demand, and Q1 is the new quantity demand. P1 is the new price of the demand. These are the different type of the price elasticity of demand, or different degrees of price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand divided into the different. First, perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, unitary elastic, relatively elastic, and relatively inelastic. First case is the perfectly inelastic demand. Perfectly inelastic demand means when there is no change in the price and lot of change in the quantity demand. That type of case is called the perfectly elastic demand. When a small change in price of product cause a major change in its demand, a small change in a price and major change in a demand, it's said to be the perfectly elastic. Means demand in a change of demand is a maximum change. Okay, is called the perfectly elastic demand. The curve of the perfectly elastic demand is the horizontal curve parallel to the x-axis. Parallel to the axis. On y-axis we are taking the price, and on x-axis we are taking the quantity of demand. When price is a constant and lot of change in a quantity demand is called the elasticity of demand. And in the numeric form, elasticity of demand is equal to the infinity. Okay. Second case, second case is the perfectly inelastic demand. In a perfectly inelastic demand, which a change in the price cause no change in the quantity demand. When quantity is the rigid and maximum change in the price, when price is fall and price is the rise, but quantity on a rigid situation, that type of situation is called the perfectly inelastic demand. This is the vertical curve and parallel to the x-axis. But in a previous, perfectly elastic demand is a flatter curve, flatter shape curve. Is called the demand curve, flatter shape curve. DD, P and DD is the flatter demand curve parallel to the y-axis. But in case of inelastic demand is a vertical curve. The third case is the unitary elastic. Unitary elastic when the proportionate change in a demand produce the same change in the price of the demand is referred as a unitary elastic. Means when same change, equal change in the delta Q by Q equal to the delta P by P, ED, the value of ED, value of the price elasticity of demand, yeah, elasticity of demand equal to 1. The curve is the rectangular hyperbola type of the curve, is called the unitary elastic. That type of elasticity found generally in a normal goods. When change in a percentage change in a quantity, percentage change in a quantity demand and percentage change of the price both are the equal. That type of situation found in a normal goods. Third case is the relatively elastic demand, means less elastic demand, when maximum change in a price and minimum change in a maximum change in a demand, quantity demand, and minimum change in the price. That type of situation find generally in a necessity item. Okay, necessity item, that type elasticity of demand less than of 1. Relatively inelastic demand, that type situation, maximum change in the price and minimum change in the quantity demand, that is called the relatively inelastic demand. Next one is the relatively elastic, is the more elasticity of demand. More elastic, maximum change in a quantity demand and minimum change in the price, that is called the relatively elastic demand, is called the more elastic. That type of situation found in a luxury items, and less elasticity, that type of situation found in a necessary items. These are the 5 most important elasticity of demand types or degree, is called the elasticity of demand. Another second type of the elasticity of demand is the income elasticity of demand. Second type is the income elasticity of demand, and third type is the cross elasticity of demand. Okay, second type is income elasticity of demand, means when other things remaining the same, it is degree of responsiveness of quantity demand of a commodity due to change in a consumer income. When change in a consumer income, how much change in a commodity demand is called the income elasticity of demand. Okay, in another word, we can say income elasticity of demand measures by how much the quantity demand change with respect to the change in the income. And mathematical expression of that situation, income elasticity of demand is the percentage change in a quantity demanded divided by percentage change in a income. And we can express in the symbolic form, EY equal to delta Q by delta Y into Y by Q. EY represent elasticity of demand, and Q original quantity of demand, and delta Q change in a quantity demanded. Y is the original consumer income, and delta Y change in a consumer income. The type of income elasticity of demand explain first positive income elasticity of demand, and second negative income elasticity of demand, and third is the zero income elasticity of demand. First case, positive income elasticity of demand divided again 3 types: income elasticity greater than unity, second income elasticity equal to unity, and income elasticity less than unity. Okay, these are the 3 type of the positive income elasticity. And negative income elasticity less than 0, value of less than 0 is called the negative income elasticity of demand, and zero income elasticity means EY equal to 0. Okay, first case, positive income elasticity means the value of income elasticity greater than 0. If the quantity demand of a commodity increase with the rise in income of the consumer and vice versa, it is said to be positive income elasticity of demand. For example, when the change in a consumer demand, quantity demand greater than change in the income, means change in maximum proportion change in a quantity demand, minimum change in a income demand. We are taking on y-axis the consumer income and x-axis is the commodity demanded. Maximum change in a quantity demand, minimum change in a income. So elasticity of income elasticity with the value greater than 1 is called the greater income elasticity of 1. That type of elasticity found in the luxury items. Second case, Income elasticity equal to unity. When equal change in a quantity demand and equal change of the consumer, we are taking the one y-axis is the consumer income and response on a quantity demand on a x-axis. The curve between the x-axis and y-axis parallel in a 145-degree. Same change in a quantity demand, same change in the income, that type of elasticity equal to 1. Next, income elasticity less than 1. Maximum change in a income, maximum change in a income, minimum change in a quantity demanded is called the income elasticity less than unity, less than that type of situation found in a necessity items. When income elasticity equal to 1, that type of situation found in a normal goods. And when income elasticity greater than 1, minimum change in a quantity demand and maximum change in a minimum change in a income of the consumer and maximum change in a quantity demand, that type of situation found in a luxury item. This is the positive income elasticity. Second case is the negative income elasticity of demand. Negative income elasticity of demand less than 0. The value of the income elasticity demand equal is the less than 0. When we are taking the income on y-axis, the response of income of the consumer on a y-axis, and record the quantity demand response of consumers on a x-axis. When income of the consumer will rise, the demand of commodity will fall. That type of situation arise in a inferior goods. Found that type of situation in a market in a inferior goods. The curve slope of the curve is a downward slope curve. The slope of the curve DD, the demand curve slope in a downward slope curve. Next, zero income elasticity. That type of situations arise when income change, lot of change in income and quantity is the rigid. That type situations are found when consumer income is a maximum, like that in necessity items is called the necessity. For example, salt, medicines, where if consumer income will change, quantity demand is the rigid, is called the zero income elasticity. Means there is no change in the consumer demand and maximum change in income when income is rise and income is fall. That type of situation is the income elasticity of demand. And positive income elasticity greater than 1 when change in income responds the change in a quantity demanded. This is the major difference between positive and negative income elasticity. Second type is the cross elasticity of demand. Cross elasticity means respectively commodity. The change in a response of respective commodity. Cross elasticity of demand is a degree of response of quantity demanded of a commodity due to the change in the price of the another commodity. Means a relative commodity price change that the previous commodity demand the influence. In another word, we can say, if mathematical expressions of the cross elasticity, percentage change in a quantity demand for good X, percentage change in the price of the goods Y. If change in the price of goods Y, then change of the demand of commodity X is for the cross elasticity of demand. For EC equal to delta QX by delta PY into PY by delta QX. EC is the cross elasticity of demand. QX is the initial quantity demand for good X. QX, X is the commodity and Q is the quantity demanded. Delta QX, change in the quantity demand of a good X, and PY, Y is the another commodity. Second commodity is called the Y. X and Y are the relative or non-relative. This is the explanation by the cross elasticity of demand. PY is the initially price of good Y. Y is the another good. And delta PY, Y is the change in the price of good Y. And there are the three type of the cross elasticity. For example, positive cross elasticity. Positive cross elasticity when the value of elasticity, greater than 0 is called the cross elasticity. Okay, we are taking on a y-axis is the price and x-axis is the demand of another commodity. X and Y both are the relative commodity. X and Y are the both are the relative commodity. If, for example, price of the Pepsi will rise, then demand of the Coke, commodity of Coke will rise. It means both are commodity is the substitute commodity. Positive cross elasticity of demand explain the relationship between the commodity, that type of commodity when the change in a positive direction, the dd is the demand curve in a positive curve between x-axis and y-axis, when price change in a p to p1 and demand of commodity coke q to q1. It means the positive change means when price change, the demand of commodity x or coke is the changeable. It means the positive cross elasticity, that type of situation found in a substitute goods. Second case is the negative cross elasticity of demand. Negative cross elasticity of demand means when the value of cross elasticity is less than 0. Value of cross elasticity less than 0. On y-axis taking the prices of commodity and another commodity demand on the x-axis. Suppose that price of sugar will rise, then the demand of tea will fall. Price of commodity P, if rise, then demand of T will fall. That type of situation, demand curve in a cross elasticity is the negative demand. The slope is the negative demand curve. Rise in a price of one good lead to fall in quantity demand of its complementary goods. That type of situation found in a complementary goods. Negative cross elasticity of demand indicate negative relationship between both commodity price and demand is called in a complementary goods. Third case is called the zero cross elasticity. Zero cross elasticity explain the no change in a both goods price and commodity, price and the commodity in a different type of goods. Practical importance. What is the importance of the concept of the price elasticity? Price elasticity importance is a business decision. Business decision. What the price when consumer demand will rise and what the price consumer demand is a fall. In case of the demand is a inelastic, that type of situation, business owner rise the price. When demand is a inelastic, that type of situation, price will fall. Importance of the concept in the formatting of tax policy of the government. In case of the tax policy, the type of demand of commodity is a inelastic. In case government will rise the price, when demand of elastic of another commodity, there is a tax will be minimized. For determining the reward of factor of production, where is the reward of factor production? Labor and wages. If demand is a inelastic, then reward will be rise. Reward will be rise. If the demand is elastic, the reward will be lower. To determine the term of the trade between the two countries, when in case of exporter country, rise our product depend the demand of commodity, the another importer country is a elastic situation, the exporter commodity will never increase the prices. If in an importer country the demand of product is the inelastic, in case of the demand of commodity or prices of the commodity for exporter will rise the prices. This is the most important importance of the price elasticity in case of business decision and tax policy. They are the three type of the most important type of the elasticity. First price, second is the income, third is the cross elasticity.